Okay, hello, good evening, and welcome back to my channel. Today we want to look at algebra, but we will just use some 2 minutes to wait for people to join so that we can start. Now, before we start, you can see something at the right-hand corner of the screen um, showing a math quiz that will happen on Saturday at 6 p.m. So you can take a closer look at that flyer and get the details of it. Then again, if you have any issue, the chat section is live. I'll try and monitor it as best as I can so that I can give you every feedback. So we just wait for people to join and then we can start. Feel free to also say hi so that I'll know that you are. Okay, so I think people are joining. When you join, just say hi so that I'll know you are online. So today we'll be looking at algebra. Aspects of algebra where we have strange looking algebras. Some of them are in fraction forms with variables mixed with them. We want to look at how to solve those ones into details. And then maybe when we meet next week, we'll look at word problems involving algebra and all that. Please try and contact a friend. Okay? Try and contact a friend. Just send a message that the class has started. We have 30 seconds to um, continue or to start. Okay, so without wasting time, we are going to go straight to the main purpose of today's lesson. And as I said, the main purpose of today's lesson is algebra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some key points in order to make you an exceptional student to be able to solve algebra. Currently, I'm not at home. I'm in school, so I'm videoing from the school. So if you hear any sound or feedback, let me know so that I can adjust it. Okay, so starting. Wow. Okay. Kindly give me some few minutes. I had to change the slide. So I'm trying to change the slide. Okay, so we'll use the slide. Sorry about the delay. I had to do some adjustments. So with that adjustment comes some technical challenges. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I think we are good to go now. Okay, yeah. So the very first thing we want to look at will be, as I said, algebra. And then with algebra, we want to look at questions like this. We want to look at, let me write the first example. So we want to look at 2a over 3 minus a minus b all over 2. So when you look at this closely, this is a typical example of an expression because it's not equated to anything. Okay? It's a typical example of an expression because it is not equated to anything. It won't be called an algebraic or an equation, okay, or an algebraic equation, but it will be called an algebraic what? Expression. Now, for equations, we would have to have this whole thing equated to a variable or um, equated to a variable or a number, okay, or a coefficient on something. Okay, so sorry about that. I had to write at where the label is. So let me rewrite it again. So our very first example will be 2a over 3 minus a minus b all over 2. Okay, good. So now having this, we want to solve this. As I was explaining earlier, I said that this is not an equation, okay? You know there's a way to solve equations involving fractions. How do I know that this is involved or fraction is involved in this particular kind of question? Because of the denominators we have here, okay? So anytime we have something like this and then we want to solve it, we first of all have to identify to see or know whether this particular thing um, is an equation or an expression. With this one, because we know that equations should have what? An equal sign. And this one doesn't have an equal sign. We technically know that it is what? An expression. So the very first thing is to identify what kind of expression, what is in the expression. Now looking at this, because these two denominators are here, it means that we are going to be working with what? A fraction. Okay? So quickly, I'm going to explain something about fractions here, which will be the concept we are going to use. Okay? We have a over b minus c over d. Now, when you have this fraction, you know that the denominator, which will be the LCM, will be what? D and b, so bd, okay? And then we're going to find out how many times what b will go into d. In order to do that, it basically means that b will go into bd d times, and we are going to use that d to multiply this. So in a nutshell, our answer is going to be a d, okay? And then we are going to find out how many times what d will go into bd. Now d will go into bd b times, so we use the b to multiply what? C. So we'll have what? C d. So solving this will be a b a d minus what? C d over b a. Okay, so having this is the same concept you are going to use to solve this particular expression. Okay, so let me just rewrite the expression. So we have 2a over 3 and then a minus b over what? 2. Now, another thing we need to look at is anytime you have one part of the expression having two different items at the top, which is being carried by what? A single denominator. All we need to do quickly is to put those two items into a bracket so that it becomes easy for us, because at some point, because there are two items being carried by a single denominator, we would have to do some form of multiplication. So we'll quickly do that. We'll put that in a bracket, and then so we'll quickly do that and put that in a bracket. Ivan is complaining about the top left corner, but I've sorted that out. So it means that your internet is a little bit late or you didn't join us on time. Okay? So in order to do that, now we've established that we are going to be solving this particular equation just like the example on our right-hand side of the board, the one involving a over b minus c over d. So quickly, in order to, same process, in order to get the LCM, to get the single denominator that will do this for us, will mean that we would have to multiply the denominators. So multiplying the denominators will give us what? 6. Now, in some cases, if you have numbers, all you need to do is to look for the LCM. Now, the LCM for 3 and 2 is what? 6. LCM means that what? Least common multiple, okay? So I just checked the number of people on, and it's just 23. Meanwhile, we are supposed to be 100. So if you are closer to your phone and it's easy for you to send a message to a friend on Telegram or WhatsApp, kindly do that so that they can join us, okay? Because when school reopens, I don't think I will want to go over this again. So quickly doing that, now we've established that the LCM is what? 6. When we look at the right-hand side, the example on the right hand, all we need to do is, okay, so someone is saying that's supposed to be B because it was D. Yes, sure. Thank you very much. So when we look at the right-hand side, all we need to do is to find out how many times what? 2 will go into 6, okay? That's if you are going to do the 2 first. If you are going to do the 3 first, we just have to find out how many times 3 will go into 6. What do we mean by how many times 3 will go into 6? Basically, you are trying to find out what to multiply 3 to give us what? 6, okay? So quickly doing that, all we need to do is 3 will go into 6 twice, okay? 2 times, okay? Because 2 times 3 will give us 6. Now, what do you use that 2 for? You use that 2 to multiply the numerator of that particular fraction whose denominator you used in finding out the number of times to give you 6, okay? So it will be what? Multiplied by 2, okay? So this gives us what? 2 times 2 will give us 4. So this will be 4 what? A, okay? Awesome. Now, the operation sign here, you don't have to do anything to it. You quickly just replace it there. Remember, this is in a bracket, so whatever we get and use to multiply would affect both of them. That's the reason why we are even putting it in the brackets in the first place. Okay? So quickly, we want to find our denominator of this second part of the expression, 2. 2 will go into 6 3 times. How do we get that? What to multiply 2 to give us 6? We confidently know that that is 3, so we are going to use 3 to multiply the numerator aspect of it. Now, once we do that, remember this is in a bracket, so we are just going to write it as this, okay? So once we've been able to establish that, we quickly then go into details to see if you can simplify this. So we'll quickly do the expansion to simplify, okay? So expand. So let me just write expanded so that later when you see it, you get on it. So expand, so we are going to expand the 3 into bracket A minus B. Now, in order to do that, we'll have A, 4A minus what? Now, let's expand this. 3, bracket means multiplication, so 3A, okay? And then we have, this is negative 3. Negative 3 multiplying negative B, okay? It's very important that when it gets to this stage, you really concentrate on the integers, multiplication of integers here, because it can actually change your answer, okay? So having this, we'll have negative 3 multiplying. Why is it multiplying? Because brackets means multiplication. So negative 3 multiplying negative b, which will give us positive 3b, okay? So be checking if there's any issue, you let me know. So positive what? 3b. Now that we have this, we've established this, all we need to do is to simplify, and then when you look at it closely, you don't really need to group like terms. In some cases, you'd have to group like terms to rearrange the common things and then you simplify. But with this one, A, 4A and 3A are close together, so you can easily simplify them. What it means is that you have 4 CDs, okay, but because of the negative, you owe 3 CDs. So when you take that 3 CDs out, you'll be left with just 1 CD. Now with the 1, you can choose to write just A, or you write 1A. So, but for the sake of this lesson, I'll write 1A so that we'll get the understanding that at the end of the day, it is what? 1A, or it is A. It means the same thing. So now we'll have 3B all over what? 6. Okay? So this will be our answer. This will be our answer. If you have any question, feel free to comment in the live chat. Okay? We'll take another example quickly. And then the strange thing is that this particular question was BEC 1990. 1990. And then the same question was repeated in 2002. Okay? So 2002, the B part, 2002, they wrote the first paper and it was cancelled, and then they wrote the second one. So the second paper, the same question was repeated. The only difference is that instead of just A minus B, they actually place it in the brackets for you. So it makes it easy for you to do the calculation of that. Okay? So that's our answer. In some books, they will not write the one. So remember that when you see the one, it doesn't mean you've done the wrong thing. It's actually correct. So we're going to take another example, and then with that particular example, I'm going to move to the next slide. Okay, so the next slide, we have this. So example 2. And we've been given 3x minus, 3x over 4 minus x minus y all over 3. So at the beginning of the lesson, or whilst I was solving the other example, I told you that when you get this expression, and then you have to start solving it, all you need to do is to quickly check, is there a denominator carrying more than one item? Yes, the one on the left-hand side. So we'll quickly put that in brackets, okay, so that we don't devalue it whilst we are solving. Okay, so once we've done that, all we need to do is to go ahead and then look for the LCM. Why do we need to look for LCM? Because we are going to solve this as a fraction, okay? We are not going to look for LCM and then count the number of terms and use the terms to cancel the denominators, okay? We are not going to do that, or we use the number of, we find out the LCM and then use that LCM to multiply the number of terms, and then we can cancel the denominators. No, we are not going to do that. All we are going to do is, because it is an expression and it has denominators, then it means we can solve it as we solve fractions, okay? As we solve fractions with different denominators. Okay, so with this one, the denominators are different, so it means we'll have to look for the LCM. LCM for 4 and 3 will definitely be 12, okay? Now, for some cases, if you are struggling to get the LCM, all you need to do is to multiply the two numbers, and then you use that. But with this one, it's easy for us to get the LCM, which is what? 12 for, that's LCM for 4 and 3. Okay, so once we've done that, all we need to do is to come to the first denominator and find out 4. What to multiply 4 to give me 12? We know that that is 3, so we are going to use that 3 to multiply the numerator. Okay, so 3 times 3 will give us 9, and then it will be what? 9x. Are we okay? Now that we've established that, we'll quickly go ahead and then do the same thing to the second denominator. Now with the second denominator, we want to find out what to multiply 3 to give us 12, and that is 4. Okay? Now what do we use the 4 for? We use the 4 to multiply the numerator. Remember the numerator, we place them in the brackets because if it was not in the brackets and you use the 4 to multiply, it will technically only apply to the y. Okay? We don't want that. It's supposed to apply to every item there. Okay? So quickly, once we do that, the operation sign is maintained, and then we have 4 into brackets x minus y. Now someone will ask, why is that the 4 is behind, but now I bring it, multiplication is commutative. So it doesn't really matter which side you place the 4. Once it has to do with multiplication, you can move it around. Okay, you can move it around. Now, please stay tuned. Before the end of the lesson, I'll post the link to the assignments that you are supposed to sign, and the submission date is also on that particular quiz item, so you can check it out. So stay tuned. The lesson should end in some few minutes. We are not going to spend hours here, okay? So just stay tuned. So yes, once we've established this, the next thing we need to do is what? Expand. So we need to expand this side, okay? So expand, and then we'll just write this again and then do the expansion. So this is negative 4 multiplying positive x. That will give us negative 4x. And then this is negative 4 multiplying negative y. That will give us positive, because negative times negative will give us positive. And then 4 times y will give us 4y. So once we've established that, we need to do some form of grouping like terms. So we'll look at the top, which is the numerator section of it. When you look at it closely, the thing has already been grouped for us. So all we need to do is to simplify it. How do we simplify it? This means that if I have 9 CDs and I owe someone 4 CDs, when I pay for that 4 CDs, I'll be left with what? 5 CDs. So 5x plus 4y all over what? 12. Okay? Now, with this one, you can only decide to go further to simplify it if it is an objective question and then you realize that you're not getting the same answer, especially if your answer looks like this. So with this one, because the 12 is the denominator for both 5x and 4y, we can simply write it as this: 12 plus what? 4y over 12. And then with this one, if you want to do some form of cancellation with the 4 and the 12 on the right-hand side, you can do that. So both answers are correct, and it's dependent on the objective answers or the options that is given if this particular question presents itself in an objective section. Okay, so let's take another one. I'm going to move to another side of the board, and then with this one, we are going to solve it together. So with this one, the next item we are going to look at, it so happens that the numerators with more than one item are on both sides, unlike the previous examples we solved. So let me just change the screen. And then we have, so this is the example 3. So with example 3, we have 2a plus 4b all over 3. And then we have the parenthesis 3 into bracket a minus b all over 2. So please, those who are trying to log in to prove that they've watched the lesson, because this is a live chat, you would have to go, when the video is done and it's uploaded, you have to log it in the comment section, because what I realize is that if you do it in the live chat, I don't really get the data, because after the live section, all the chats go away. So please stay tuned, stay tuned after the lesson. Just quickly log in that in the comment section that you joined the class. So don't log in whilst the lesson is going on in the live chat, okay? Because after the lesson, it will go away. So we have this. Now, the reason why they'll put this in different parentheses is that they just want to make it a bit complex. But with this one, without the parentheses, it will mean the same thing. It will be the same process for the calculation of it. So the first thing we need to do is to take note of the denominators. So the two denominators we have here will be 3 and then 2, okay? But to make this simple for us, when we realize that we have something like this, all we need to do is you can take off the parentheses. What do I mean by parentheses? So the bigger brackets here are called parentheses and the smaller ones are smaller ones. Normally they would draw a parenthesis this way, but sometimes they do it this way, and parentheses can actually take fractions, okay? So that's just about it, but we can go straight ahead and then do that. So having this, we know that our LCM will be 6, okay? How do we get the LCM? We had the LCM to be 6 because 3 and 2, they have their least common multiple as 6, okay? So once we have that, we quickly had 3. 3 will go into 12 how many times? 3 will go into 6 how many times? It basically means 3 multiplying one number to give us 6, and that's 2. So we are going to use this 2 to multiply the numerator. So please, let's take note. Now, there's something we need to do here, so please pay attention. And then we'll do the same thing over here, okay? We'll do the same thing over here, but let's just finish this side of the expression. Now, having this side of expression, it basically means that this 2 is supposed to multiply 2a plus what? 4b. Okay, so we can't just write 2 times 2a plus 4b. It won't work. So we'll have to put 2a plus 4b into a bracket. So we'll write 2a plus what? 4b, and then we'll just put the 2 in front of it. You can put it behind, it doesn't matter, because as I said, multiplication is commutative. Okay, now that we are done with that, we'll just bring our operation, and then that operation is negative, and then we'll go back and then sort this one out. Now, sorting this one out, 2, what to multiply 2 to give us 6, and that's 3. We'll use that 3 to multiply. And remember, the multiplication is only affecting the numerator. Okay? So, affecting the numerator, all we need to do is to make sure this multiplication of 3 affects everything here. And how do we do that? We just have to put it in front here. Now, when we put it in front here, it is multiplication. So it basically means that what? 3 times 3 gives us what? 9. So 9 into bracket a minus what? B. Okay? So now let's go ahead to do the expansions on both sides. Once we are done with the expansions on both sides, all we need to do is to then expand, and then we'll simplify. So let's expand. So I write expand here so that you all know what we are doing. So to expand, this 2 will multiply the 2a, and then to multiply 4b. And then this 9 will also multiply what? A, and then it will multiply b. The point you need to take note of is the integers, okay? Multiplication of integers, so that you don't make a mistake. So Harry is telling me that you can actually check. Please, I have tried it and it doesn't work, okay? So if it works, I won't tell you to comment on the video. I don't like wasting time, and I don't want to waste your time. So we have that. We will do the expansion. So this will give us 4a. And then this is positive. This is also positive. So that will give us what? Positive, because it's multiplication. And then 2 times 4 will give us 8. So 8b. Okay? And then we'll move ahead, and then we'll have this. Now, you can decide to bring the negative, because once it's negative, you can easily change it to positive. But if you don't write the negative, then you can check which variable or coefficient is here, whether it's positive or negative, and whether it is going to actually change the operation for the middle side of the expression. So with this one, we have negative 9 multiplying positive a. And so that's what's going to give us negative 9a. Okay? Then we have negative multiplying negative. That's going to give us positive. So I advise you do the integers first before you do the real multiplication of the variable and the coefficients you have, or the constants you have in the expression. So in order to do that, once you've established the negative, because of the bracket multiplication, so negative multiplying negative is what? Positive. Now we can go ahead and do the constant multiplying the variable, or the coefficient multiplying the variable, which will give us the answer to be 9b. Okay? Don't forget the denominator. The denominator goes all the way, because, as I said, this is mainly fractions. Okay? This is mainly fractions. So in order to move on with that, we'll quickly group like terms. So with this one, it becomes important for us to group like terms, because A, then comes B, then comes A, then comes B. So it means we can group like terms, and then we can simplify. So here you need to what? Group like terms. Okay? So grouping like terms, we'll have A, 4A minus 9A plus what? 8B plus what? 9B. All over 6. Okay? So having that, all we need to do is to find out. You have 4 CDs because it's positive. The 4 is positive, so it means you have. So you have 4 CDs, but now you owe 9 CDs. So when you pay that 4 CDs, you'll be owing what? 5 CDs. So negative 5. And then we have this. You have 8 CDs, and then you have 9 CDs. So in all, you'll be having 17 CDs. So that will be 17B. Don't forget the denominator, 6. Now, when you look at this closely, this is your final answer. You don't really need to simplify like the previous one we did. Okay, so someone is trying to ask when we are supposed to submit the assignments. Please don't worry about the submission date. That the submission date is on the the form or the assignment I'll send. Okay, so yours is to concentrate on this lesson, and then everything will be sorted out for you. Definitely, I won't send an assignment without attaching the submission date. Okay. So having that, this will be our final answer, but it depends. If it is a subjective question, then you can leave it this way. If it is an objective question, your final answer also depends on how the option answers look like. Okay? So we are going to take another one, and then we'll see if we can move to another topic or go back to what we were doing, which involves factorization. And with that one, we got to a stage where we wanted to know how to multiply two binomials. Our previous lesson, I made mention of factorization, polynomials, and then binomials. The difference, we have four-term polynomial and all that. We looked at that extensively. So we want to move quickly. Now that we've done this, we've done 3 examples of them. I believe if you look at these examples, you'll be able to solve them with any kind of question that is presented to you. Now, someone will ask a question, what if it is three terms, but it is still an expression? It follows the same process where you have something like this, a over b minus what? Maybe c over d plus e over what? F, okay? It follows the same principle. If you have this as a fraction, how would you have solved it? Okay? So it's the same process you'd have to follow by looking for the denominator for all the 3 and then going through the same steps. Okay? We'll be going into details with that in another lesson, but we are going to move on to multiplication of 2 binomials now, and then because we've actually done some form of it, once we start, we'll look at 2 examples and then we'll call it a day. Okay? So we should close in the next 15 minutes. So please sit tight so that we can finish together. So multiplication of 2 binomials. Okay? Please, if you are new to the channel, kindly subscribe. The benefits of subscribing you already know, so that when the class starts, anytime I'm doing a class that is not meant for you, you even still get notification and then you join secretly. Okay? So subscribe, like the video is very, very important, and then share the video to your friends so that they can also benefit. They might not be privileged to be in a school where they can produce online lessons for them. So you can also share the link with them and then they can benefit from it. Don't be selfish, okay? So that is what, don't worry, I've corrected. I was writing in the label. I've changed that. So if you are seeing it, don't worry about it. It has been changed. So without wasting time, we'll continue. And then multiplication of 2 binomials. What is a binomial? A binomial, this is a typical example of a binomial. A binomial basically means that in that particular thing, it has what? 2 terms. Okay? So polynomials means that it has a lot of terms. Now, a binomial, bi means what? 2. So binomial. Poly means many. So it has from 3 going. Now, for 3 terms, we looked at it last week that it is called what? A trinomial, because tri means what? 3. Okay? And then we have monomial, which is just 1, which would just be a constant, just x standing on its own with nothing around it, with no addition or subtraction involved. That's what a monomial. Okay? So now let's look at this carefully. Now, before we talk about the binomial, there was this question in a form that almost all of you had wrong, and I want to explain it quickly. So there were possible answers given, but I'm not going to use the possible answers to explain that. Okay, so if Rebecca and Co are listening, they can just watch it so that I can explain it. So this was how the question was structured. We had 1 minus x squared. Okay, so I want to explain into details why. I know some of you went ahead to choose this because I explained that when you have this, then it becomes what? becomes that x minus 1, x plus 1. But when we look at this closely, we can confidently say that this is not the same as what? This one. Okay? We can confidently say that 1 minus 2x is not the same as 2x minus 1. Okay. Why am I saying that? Now, 1 minus 2x, assuming we want to rearrange it. It technically means that what the negative belongs to the 2x. And then the 1 here is positive. So if I want to rearrange it, then it means it's going to be looking like this. Now, if I have negative 3 squared, this means that negative 3 times what? Negative 3, which will give me what? Positive 9. Is it not the same as having 3 squared, which will also give me positive 9? Okay, so this negative x squared is the same as what? It will give you the same value as what? X squared. Okay, they will give you the same value. So with this one, we can confidently write it as this. Once we have this, remember I said that in order for you to do x minus 1 and x plus 1, someone is saying that they can't see from which side? Please tell me the side so that I'll know and then correct it as soon as possible. So as I was saying, once we've done this, now, in order to do x minus 1, x plus 1 as a two binomial, you need to have the original binomial having negative for the second aspect of it. Okay? So with this one, we'll quickly then say that this will be x plus 1, x plus what? 1. Hence, those who chose the answer x minus 1, x plus 1 will not be made valid. So they are saying that they can't see, so I'm going to bring it to the right-hand side, and then when I'm done, I'll just move to another screen. Now I'm going to change the marker color. So this is what I was explaining. I was explaining that you had a question like this, 1 minus x squared. And most of you chose an answer like this because of our previous lesson that we did. Now, please, the assignments I'll be sending, some of the questions will not be straightforward. You would have to think out of the box. Why will I do that? Because I know now you are just at home watching TV. You are just wasting brain power. Because I don't want you to waste brain power, I'll send assignments that you would have to critically think about it before you solve it, if you want to score and get every aspect correct. Okay? So we have this. Piazza is saying he's okay, but is everyone okay? If everyone is okay, then I can move to what we are supposed to do today. Can you all see? Okay, so whilst I'm waiting for the response, I'm as well just go ahead and do the calculation. So with this one, most of you chose this answer, which was wrong. Let me explain why. Explaining why, with this one, we can actually write it like this. Okay, why will I write it this way? Because the negative here belongs to the x squared. And then the 1 here is positive, so it becomes what? Plus 1. Okay? Now, having this, all we need to do is to quickly find out negative x squared. Would that make a difference? If I have negative 2 squared, it's the same as negative 2 times what? Negative 2. And then if I have this, negative times negative will give me positive. So this will be what? Positive what? Okay, so they are saying they are okay, but I've already started. I'll finish soon. So this will give me positive. It's the same as having what? 2 squared being 2 times 2, which will give you what? 4. So it both gives you the same answer. If both are giving you the same answer, then it means that negative x squared is the same as what? X squared plus 1. And then x squared plus 1, because the operation between these two is not negative, we can't get the answer above. So it means that our answer is going to be x plus 1 and then x plus 1. Hence, that's how come a lot of you had this wrong. So let's quickly move to the next topic. As I said, remember, we are doing multiplication of two binomials. If you remember, I gave you some formats in order to be able to do this easily, where I said master and slave. So that's what we are going to look at. So we have 2a plus what? B. And then we have a plus what? 2b. So for the flyer on the right-hand side bottom of the screen is about the quiz competition on maths we'll be having on Saturday. It's a very interesting one. Yesterday we tried it on Telegram and it was fun. So if you want to do that, the instruction is there. You have an app you are supposed to download, and then once it's 6 p.m. prompt, you join us. Please join us on time, okay? Because if you don't join us on time, it means that this thing is going to delay and you're not going to get the questions as we stream it, okay? So more instructions will be given concerning that. Now we have this. We want to solve this. Now, in order to solve this, when we solve or when we multiply two binomials, we automatically get a quadratic equation or expression, okay? Now, getting a quadratic expression, we'll explain what it means and why we sometimes get quadratic expressions. So having this, all we need to do is to quickly, we'll label one master and then we'll label the other slave, okay? Now, labeling one master and then the other slave, Rodney, you have to join that competition because there are some people I want you to bring down. Okay, they are on the top of the list, but I think if you are in that competition, it will be fun. So try and reach me so that I can direct you on how to join the competition. So having that, we have master. We've labeled them master and then slave. Okay. So master, slave. The master has how many terms in it? 2. Now, each of the terms are supposed to be used to multiply the 2 terms of the slave. Okay, so what do I mean by that? It means that 2a, which is the first term in the master, will multiply all the terms with the slave. And then the second term in the master will multiply all the terms in the slave. Now that we have this, all we need to do is to concentrate and do our expansion. So at this stage, once you are able to do this master slave, the next thing you need to do is to do your expansion. So doing your expansion, let me write this here, expand, so that later when you watch it without the voice, you can even understand what is going on. So to expand, we have 2a multiplying a. A multiplying will give us a squared. So let's not forget that. So this will be a 2a squared. And then we have 2 times 2. Let's bring the addition because it's positive and positive multiplication. Positive, positive will give us what? Positives. And then we have 2 times 2 will give us 4. And then a times b will give us ab. Then we'll do the same thing to this side of the expression. And then we have, now let's look at it. Remember, we are supposed to do the operations of the integers before we even do the multiplication of the variables or the constant or coefficients in any expression or equation we are dealing with. So let's look at the integers quickly. Now with this operations, we will have positive multiplying positive because the a is positive, and that's going to give us positive. Then we have b multiplying a. Now remember, multiplication is commutative. So if b multiplying a gives us what? ba is the same as what? ab. Okay, so we are going to write what? ab. It won't change the value of it. Okay, and then we have positive multiplying positive, which will give us positive. And then we have b multiplying 2b. Okay, so 2b. Remember that b multiplying b will give us b squared. So 2b squared. So once you have this, all you need to do is to check and see if we have something in common, group-like terms, and then you simplify. Now, the common thing we have here is this 4ab plus what? 1ab. Remember, it is 1, even though we've not written it, it is 1. We take it as 1. So that will give us what? 2a squared. And then because they are all positive, that will give us 5. So, okay, 5ab plus what? 2b squared. Okay, and this is our final answer. I'm going to write 4 of this on the board. Now, the 4 is your second part of your assignment, which you are supposed to take a picture of, and then you submit it to this email address. So, this email address marked by Dominic Logosu. I think most of you are privileged to have that beforehand. So, but those who don't have, I'm writing it. Mathematics by Dominic Logosu. Please, this is a subjective assignment. No one should take it for granted. Remember, all assignments are being recorded. And then the assignments that we did this week, I had just 75 students submitting before the deadline. And I even extended the deadline because I closed it at 8 p.m. yesterday. Okay, so please, if you are not in the habit of submitting your assignments, please do so, because I don't want you to lose marks. If it happens like that, there's nothing we can do about it. So Brendan is saying that they can't see with the purple. Yeah, we all have issues with color. Okay, so some people can't see. So I'll just write with this one. Please don't go off, because I'm here to give the assignment. So if you go off, you will not get access to it. Remember, this one will not be posted. Unless, of course, maybe someone wants to take a snapshot of it and send it to the group. So we have this, the first one. So this is assignment. Okay, so the email address, you send it to the email address. Now with this one, it will take time for me to check all and send you a feedback, okay? So the first one we have, yeah, it's supposed to use this example on the left-hand side to solve it. So the first one will have 2x plus y. So if you are here, just take a pen and a paper and copy. Now with this lesson, you are supposed to have a pen and a notebook by you. So this is not the time. I know some of you are lying in bed and watching me. You should be ashamed of yourself. How can you be in a classroom and lie down? And then please try the second one. With the second one, I think if you remember what we did on Tuesday, you should be able to use that to solve. And then we have into brackets 6 minus x, and then 6 plus y. Okay? So please, if you are struggling with the second assignment, watch the video on factorization. It is now, I've changed the title to Understanding Polynomials. So you just have to watch that video. Okay? And then you'll be able to answer it. And then those who struggle with this particular type, you have to come back to this video and watch this master and slave tutorial. Okay? So let me see if I can get the last one so that I can add this. I can add it to it. So the last one will be a bit technical. So you have to take your time when solving. And then it said evaluate. Well, that depends on you, Adelaide. If you want to take a snapshot of it, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Provided you can see when you take the snapshot. So subscribe, give thumbs up to the video, today's lesson, and then the important one is to share, okay, so that we can help your friends who are in various schools and don't have access to this. You can even take the link and post it in your church group. And basically, anyone who really needs it will go to have access to it. So those are the four assignments. And then that's it for today. Please ensure that after, it will take some maybe 2 hours to for the video to be uploaded on YouTube. Once it is uploaded on YouTube, quickly go to the comment section and then key in that you watched it. Okay? Because as I said, the live aspect, I've been trying to get access to the live chat in order to get those who watched, but we couldn't. I couldn't get access to it. That's why I requested that you go back and then post it in the comment section. Okay, so you did that. Most of you did that for the first one, which is understanding polynomials or factorization, and I was able to get the data. And please, as I said, out of 100 students, we had just roughly 75 students submitting the assignment. So it means about 25 are missing. Okay. So please try and contact them. If you have a particular friend in class that you've not heard from, try and trace that friend so that we can all be on the same page. And then please utilize your time well. Those who have been sleeping and waking up around 5 p.m. and all that is not a good habit. Please change it. If you have any question, you can send me a text on Telegram. And then please pay attention to the flyer in the corner. I'm expecting a lot of people, not less than 30 students, to join the competition. Remember, there's a giveaway, and that giveaway basically is a course on thinkacademics.com. Okay, so try as much as possible to join that quiz so that you can have the free access to thinkacademics.com courses and other courses on Udemy. Okay, so enjoy your day and stay blessed. Bye bye. Okay, so Ivan Quantain wants to find out my handle on Telegram. I think it's just Dominic Logosu. So just look for Dominic Logosu and then you would find it. Someone, Scott, is also trying to find out if you have Zoom class. Zoom class has been cancelled because the school wants a system where we can actually post the video so that even if all students are not able to access it at the same time, they can come back to it and have access to it. Okay? So basically, that is it. Enjoy your day. If you have any questions, I'm still here. If you have any questions, you can ask. For those who want to find out how to join the online quiz competition live, all you need to do is to download the app. The app is in the flyer, so you just have to look for it in Play Store, download it, and just wait. When it is 6 p.m. prompt, I'll start the live streaming at 5:50, so that when it is 6 p.m. prompt, we can quickly start. So someone is saying that also for credit is easy. I can easily send you credit through my bank account. So we can make the giveaway credit and then courses on the Think Academist website. So with that one, it can easily be done. So just make sure you. And now the tip, those who are gone, that is their loss. But the tip for the quiz, please go and watch my videos on angles, because a lot of angle questions will be coming. And those angle questions, I didn't teach them while we were in school. I taught them in that particular tutorials. So go and watch that. Okay. So quickly. Do that. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, please kindly subscribe. Piasa, you can't use my channel to ask for subscription. Okay? Behave yourself. Have you even subscribed to my channel yet? So Skype is mainly a paid class section. Now with the Skype, what we do is that students who want to advance the syllabus are placed on that Skype class, and then I teach them advanced topics we've not yet done in school. But for this particular one on YouTube, it's a form of revision to actually affirm what we've already done. Maybe there are some potholes of things that we have not looked at yet. We'll look at this. But for the Skype class, specifically for students who want to advance the syllabus and want to use this opportunity to finish the math syllabus so that by the time it's the end of the year, they are ready to even write their BEC. So those who are interested in it, you know my Telegram handle. You can contact me on that. The price is very, very reasonable, and then we can do that, okay? But because the reason why I'm doing this is because the school is saying that we should just do revision. We shouldn't advance the syllabus. And I understand, because if you advance the syllabus, it's not everyone who will get access here, okay? So since it's not everyone who will get access to the online platforms, it will be very unfair to them if I start teaching new topics. So those who don't want to be at a disadvantage of just doing revision, you can just contact me and then we'll sort that out. So yes, that is it for today. All the best. And then let me know in the comment section the next topic you would want me to treat. The next topic you would want me to treat. And also let me know in the comment section the next color you want me to use on the board. So last week it was red. I'm talking about the bars and all that, the labels. It was red, and then someone is asking about for my Telegram handle. It's the same thing as Dominic Logo, so it's my name. Okay, so it was red. Today is blue. What color would you want me to use the next time? Okay. Yeah, so Messi Jampo, that's the app. Just download it and then stay tuned. Friday, Saturday, 6 p.m. prompt. Okay. Please ensure that you've eaten and all that, because some people wanted nearly collapsed with the trial quiz we had on Telegram. Okay. So basically that is it. I would have to go off now because I have a seminar. So see you later. Bye-bye.